Hey guys, just a quick one tonight. I found this quite funny article, so I thought I'd bring it to you from Sky News, Australia. Climate activists burn fuel being rescued by a helicopter from sea ice. Andrew Bolt, Sky News host. An Arctic tourist ship named MS Malmo with 16 passengers on board became stuck in ice halfway between Norway and North Pole. The ship was on an Arctic ice tour with the climate change documentary film team and tourists concerned with climate change and melting Arctic ice. Now, I can't find out who these global warming activists are. Sweden's Aftenposten hasn't identified them either. But I love the image. Global warmers determined to scare us about how Arctic ice is melting wind up getting trapped in exactly the ice they thought wasn't there. Oh my, oh dear, guys. I've heard this over and over again in the last 10 years. It's happened numerous times. Nearly every time it's climate activists going out to prove the ice is melting, and they get stuck in the ice that they say is melting, and they have to be rescued. Then they had to be rescued by helicopters. Think of all those emissions. Even funnier is that this has happened before, more than once. 6 years ago, we were told of another ship of global warmists off to study a polar ice cap, this time Antarctica. The man was Professor Chris Turney and his expedition, including Green Senator Janet Rice, who was very excited about seeing how global warming had wrecked Antarctica. "I'm off to Antarctica tomorrow," she tweeted before the trip. "It seems appropriate that my last post here before I go is about campaigning for effective action on climate change." But Rice, Turney, and their ship of warmists hit such thick ice that an icebreaker couldn't free them, and they too had to be rescued by helicopters. You want another example? Easy. 2 years ago, British adventurer Penn Haddo announced his own expedition to prove that the global warming was melting away the whole North Pole. The media left ate it up. But what few in the media reported was that the impossible was still impossible. His yacht got stuck in sea ice when still 1,000 kilometres from the North Pole and had to turn back. But like I said, not much publicity. Scares sell, and the failures to back them up do not. For instance, the ABC 11 years ago screened a very scary documentary to huge applause, claiming the Arctic would soon be melted clean away. But the ABC won't say sorry for that, because that melting away of the North Pole never happened. We heard it from Al Gore back in 2000 or whenever that was. And we should all be underwater by now. The data shows that yes, there was some melting. We're still retreating from the little ice age. Look up the Maunder minimum, guys, you'll understand. But we've never had less than 4 million square kilometres of ice in recent times at the South Pole. Yes, but we've never had less than 4 million square kilometres of ice in recent times, the South Pole. Ice there is close to the long-term average. Sorry, guys, that sentence just didn't seem right there. Look, I'm not saying there hasn't been some global warming. It's been very small, about 0.13 of a degree each decade. And what do you think has to happen when you're coming out of an ice age? You have to warm up a little bit. How much is natural? We can't be sure. I'd say 99.9% of it is natural. And whether it's actually bad to have a bit of warming, that's very debatable. Food crops, for instance, have never been as big as we've seen over the last few years, but most people don't know that. They hear of the scares and the scary expeditions. Yeah, and the fake scares that the media keep. We're going to run out of water, you're going to run out of food. They aren't told of the good news or when the scary expeditions flop. That's the context we should remember when we hear global warming scaremongers now. Because, guys, that's all it is. It's scaremongering, it's fearmongering, they're panicking. Are you? I'm not. My weather here actually feels like it's cooler than it has been previous years. I am up in the mountains, so it is a bit cooler up here, but yeah, I'm finding a bit of a lack of warmth happening. Anyway, guys, let me know how it is for you, where you are. And I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Okay, have a good one. Bye, guys.